Meet my new to me machine and brand, and this one has got a hidden talent. I'm Ollie, this is SimplyStitchy. Let's find out what it is. This is the Emdeko JA21. This machine dates back to the 1960s. It was actually made in Japan. It was imported into the US by a company called National Housewares. And National Housewares weren't really a sewing machine manufacturer, they were just a distribution company, and they actually changed their name towards the end of the 60s, early 70s to Emdeko. And that name is made up of the initials of the people who ran the company. National Housewares were investigated towards the late 60s by the FTC for some dodgy selling practices, and that's why they changed their name to Emdeko, so that they could carry on with the dodgy selling practices, and they got caught again. And by the end of the 1970s, because of that, Emdeko as a company ceased to exist, which is kind of sad in a way, because this machine has some pretty nifty features. This machine is known as a zigzag machine, which means that's its default setting. To get it to do a straight stitch, you have to take the stitch width all the way down to 0. It's got the capability to take cams. So as well as just doing a straight stitch and your usual zigzag stitches, it can do special stitches. This one can't because this one didn't come with the cams, but if you could get the cams for it, you can do all sorts. In order to get it to change the width of the stitch so you get wider zigzags, you have to push this lever down. See, you see the little needle moving? To get it to stay on one of these widths, you don't just have to push this down, you also have to push the little silver button. So you push it down, select the width that you want, and then push your button in, and it'll click into place and lock it. It has a stitch length adjuster. These numbers here indicate how many stitches per inch you can set it to do. You've got the largest, which is 6 stitches per inch. And it's also got a buttonhole setting which can be activated through this dial. We've also got reverse on this machine, indicated by this large R on this button, which is a push-in button. And one of the little features that I think is particularly nice on this machine is these buttons here. One says down and one says up. And if you push those, it actually raises and lowers the feed dogs. Now this machine is a standard class 15. The bobbin case, it's a standard class 15 style, and there's the bobbin that came with it. This is an older class 15 bobbin, and you'll notice that there's no holes in this bobbin for putting the thread through, and I'll show you how to load the bobbin in a minute. And it also takes standard class 15 needles. If we just tip it up a little bit, there's the underneath. It's very reminiscent of the Singer 15 with the design, particularly of this bit here. That's the bobbin housing. It's looking pretty clean too. I'm actually going to give it just a little bit of oil while I'm down here. Again, anywhere that metal rubs against metal as it's moving. Try not to get any on the electrics, obviously, and stay away from the motor. Another thing this machine has in common with the Singer 15 is it weighs half a ton. It is actually a very heavy sewing machine. Another feature that I think is particularly nifty is the spool pins actually fold out of the way when you're not using them. I'm going to just take the screws out of the top cover so that we can see what's going on in the top of the machine. That's also looking pretty clean, and everything's moving freely. And the good news is this is an all metal machine. There's no plastic in there at all. If we take a look behind the faceplate, there's a little light just here behind this metal panel. And just give it a little bit of oil while I'm in here. It's actually looking not too bad at all. It's very clean. If you take a look at the presser foot, just check out where that thumb screw is. This is what's known as a high shank machine. That thumb screw is pretty much an inch away from the base of the sewing machine. If I just pop my thumb by the side of it, because from here to your knuckle on your thumb is an inch. There you go. If we compare that to the attachment on my brother, the thumb screw is here, which is only at my thumbnail. You also have a choice of where to put the needle. You've got L for left, R for right, and M for middle. On a lot of sewing machines it will actually say C for centre, but on this one it's M. So let's see if we can wind a bobbin and get her to do a zigzag stitch. Like most machines of this era, it's got a clutch that you need to disengage first. And the reason why we do that is so that all the power goes to winding the bobbin and the needle doesn't keep moving up and down. And you literally just turn it to the left to undo it. I'm going to put the thread on the thread spool at the back of the machine, and then we're going to come to this thread guide here, which is a bit of a curly one, so it's a case of wrapping it around the curly bit. The next guide you want to come to is this one on the base of the machine, and that actually puts tension on the bobbin thread. The bobbin, like I said before, doesn't have any holes. To get the thread to stay on this older style bobbin while we start the winding process, we're going to need to wrap the thread around that middle, and that will just hold the thread in place. And when you wrap it, make sure you catch the end. That should do. And then what we're going to do is pop it on the bobbin winder. The bobbin pin here has a little notch, or a little bit sticking up, which fits into the little groove on the bobbin, and that stops the bobbin flying off. So make sure that that little sticky up bit is in the gap in the bobbin. Okay, then what you want to do is you want to push the bobbin winder so that it's sitting on the hand wheel. Well, they call it a flywheel on this particular model. And then we'll give it a go, see if we can wind the bobbin. When you're finished, just flip up that little lever and pull the bobbin off. If you find that the thread comes off and it doesn't stay on when you start the winding process, try wrapping the thread around the bobbin the other way. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to thread the top of the machine, and I'm going to move the spool to the spool pin at the front. Now, I don't have a manual for this one at the moment, so I'm going to thread this using my experience of other machines. If I do manage to find a manual for this machine, I'll pop a link in the description box, so check that out. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put it through this thread guide here. There's a thread guide at the front, this curly one that we used for winding the bobbin. I'm going to put it through that. Oops. There we go. And now I'm heading down to the tension discs, and I'm going to go around the tension discs from right to left, like so, and then I'm going to come up far enough to catch the check spring that's just sitting here on top of those discs. So if I can get the thread over there a bit. Oh, missed. That's weird, it's not catching the check spring. Oh, this machine has been fiddled with. Somebody's bent the check spring. All the check spring does is it holds the thread in check, if you like, so it doesn't wobble too much and keeps it straight. And all it means is I'm not going to be able to set the tension properly on this machine, but it should still make a stitch, so I'll fix that at some other point. Right, from here what we need to do is go through this little arm here. This is reminiscent of the Singer 66, and it's just a case of going underneath it. The next bit we're going to thread is the take-up lever, this bit. Make sure this is at the highest point, and then just pop the thread through it. Okay, the next thing we want to do is the thread guides towards the needle. The next thread guide is here, right at the base of the faceplate. There we go. And the next one is here, just on the opposite side to the needle clamp. And when you thread that one, you should see that it holds the thread to the left of the needle, which tells me that this machine threads from left to right. So that needle needs to be inserted with flat to right. The next thing that we're going to do is put the bobbin in the case. Now, because this machine threads from left to right, and many of my other machines that do that have the bobbin in the bobbin case with thread coming off to the right like that, that's how I'm going to put this bobbin in this bobbin case. So there we go. The bobbin is in the bobbin case, the thread is coming off to the right, and there's a little groove just there that you need to pull the thread up into, and then you just follow it all the way to that gap here, and then just make sure that it runs freely. And as you do that, you'll notice that the bobbin is actually spinning clockwise. To get it into the machine, there's this little latch that you pull up, and what that does is it holds the bobbin, see? And then you just pop it in the machine with that little finger pointing upwards. Now that we've got the bobbin in place and the top of the machine's threaded, I'm going to turn the hand wheel, or the flywheel in this case, to pick the bobbin thread up. Oh, the eagle-eyed amongst you will notice that the needle's not actually moving, and there's a very good reason for that. It's because I haven't re-engaged the clutch. It's an easy fix. You just turn the clutch to the right and try again. There you go. Oh dear, no point being a prat unless you show it, is it? Right, it's picked the bobbin up. The fact that it has picked the bobbin thread up tells me that the bobbin is actually in the right way around, because it wouldn't pick it up if it wasn't. So there we go. We've got the top threaded, we've got the bobbin inserted. Let's see if we can get this old dear to do a zigzag stitch. In order to change the setting, you have to release that knob again, and then obviously put it on the next size up. I'm going to try and go for the maximum size. So hold the lever, push the little knob, and let's see what it does this time. There we go. Now let's see if it will do a straight stitch. There you go, it's the straight stitch and the zigzag. And there's the back. Now, I said right at the very beginning of this video that this machine has a hidden talent, and the hidden talent lies with this bit. You remember that I said you move this down to pick a width for your zigzag, and then to lock it you push that button. Well, you can also use this flappy paddle to change the width while you're actually sewing. You'll see this just moves freely from 0 to 4 But if you hold it on the 2, lock it, you can move it from this size to that size, and that allows you to make patterns if you like. So let's give it a try. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to unlock it, and I'm going to do that again, only this time it's free to do any size it likes. Oh, let's try that again. This time what I've done with this rear thread guide is I've put the thread in through this hole and back out through this hole to see if it will stop the thread breaking. Well, it's kind of worked. You've got a straight stitch, you got a big zigzag, you got a little zigzag, big zigzag. And it's not too bad. To be perfectly honest with you, using that particular hidden talent is a bit like free motion quilting. I think it takes practice.
I hope you liked today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Why not check out some of the other videos on the channel using the links coming up on the screen any minute now, or the ones I'll put in the description box below for you. Whichever video you go and check out next, hope to see you back here for the next one. And in the meantime, whatever you're sewing it with, embrace your creativity and have fun. Thank you ever so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.